Now, the City of Tshwane is partnering with the Danish government to upgrade the Rooiwal water treatment plant amid the water crisis. This is expected to bring much-needed relief to residents of Hammanskraal. Now, the Danish government has already allocated more than 30 million rand for this project. Tshwane Mayor Silas Brink briefed the media about it earlier, and my colleague, that's the reporter Hloni Mtimkulu, was there. She's back now to give us some of the details. Bongani, good afternoon, welcome back. What exactly is this project about involving the City of Tshwane and Denmark?
Good afternoon, Bradan. So it's basically, they're calling it the Water Resilient Cities Program, and it is this partnership or this collaboration between the Danish city of Aarhus and Tshwane or Pretoria, and it is meant to be a strategic collaboration enforced by or started about by the Danish, by Denmark, by the government of Denmark. The ambassador of Denmark was there, and it's part of their kind of work around different cities and collaborating with different cities around the world to kind of share their water expertise, their expertise in terms of how to get water structure, water infrastructure right. And so South Africa or Tshwane is chosen as one of the cities that they want to work with. They said that they've had a few issues in terms of contaminated water, but generally their water supply is clean. And so there are lessons that can be learned from the City of Tshwane in terms of managing that. We know the huge crisis that there is in the city, and especially around Hammanskraal as well, in terms of the contaminated water, the dirty water. We were there earlier and we heard all sorts of things about the water situation there. So they want to work together to make sure that there is an improvement in terms of the water infrastructure, in terms of the wastewater treatment and things around that, and learn, Tshwane, that is, learn from Denmark in terms of how they've gotten things right, in terms of how they do things. So this may involve officials from Tshwane going to Denmark to kind of see what's happening there. It will also involve officials from Denmark coming to South Africa to see what our plants are like and what processes are working and not working, and try and get that all together to work to ensure that over time, this is a long-term project and it is phase 2 of the project, but over time they want to see that the water in the Tshwane area, in areas like Hammanskraal, is not contaminated, is clean and is safe for consumption for the community, Bradan.
Yeah, so practically, what will it going to mean to a place like Hammanskraal, where the community has suffered a lot recently with that, the cholera outbreak we saw a few months ago?
Yeah, so the mayor did say that this is not going to, he said, I hesitate to say that this is not going to be the fix or the silver bullet that fixes all the problems in Hammanskraal and communities like that that have been affected by the contaminated water, or actually no water at all in some instances. But he said that these are some of the steps, or the first steps that you take in wanting to ensure that you get things right. He talked about the collaboration with the water ministry in terms of trying to do something to make sure that the situation in Hammanskraal is sorted out over the next, I think it's about 3 years or so, the longer term project around that. So he said this is not going to solve it for now, but this is what they're trying to do to make sure that they kind of get there. And by partnering with cities like Aarhus and learning from those cities and seeing how they manage their water infrastructure, the lessons learned there will hopefully help them out. There was, of course, a mention about corruption and how the Danish city is going to make sure, and the mayor of the city of Aarhus is going to make sure that everything goes to plan, that, you know, there is oversight, that there is proper oversight. And they said that they'll make sure that their systems are in place. They'll have to maybe relook their systems, that is Tshwane, to make sure that whatever processes they have, that they can follow through on them. And if their systems are not strong enough, and if there will be elements of corruption there, that they can strengthen them. But the mayor of Aarhus said that this is not the first phase, this is the second phase. And so they've had a few years to kind of test out their relationship with the City of Tshwane, to see the systems in the City of Tshwane. So they're convinced that in terms of corruption, in terms of money going where it shouldn't go, or, you know, or being misled or going elsewhere, that they are pretty certain that that will not happen. But let us hear from the mayor of Tshwane, Silas Brink, in terms of how they plan to work this around and the trust deficit that there is with the community of Hammanskraal.
One must be very careful to say this is going to solve all problems. This is certainly what you want to do, These are the kind of partners that you want to have if you're serious about getting the expertise and getting the advice on how to source some of the capital that's required to upgrade Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant. So I think it's an important first step, and it's certainly going to make us stronger in implementing that partnership agreement that we announced with the Minister of Water and Sanitation and National Treasury.
And Bongani, is the community sold on this project?
Not at all, Braden. This is a community that's heard all manner of promises over years and years and years in terms of dealing with their water supply challenges. And so when we went there this morning, we spoke to them and we asked them, do you think that whatever plans that have been put in place, they will work? There was a clear, we've heard this before, we want to see actual action before, we believe anything. And when we drove in, initially parts of Hammanskraal were fine and there was water. And then as the further in we drove into a community called Marokolo. And then we saw someone pushing a wheelbarrow with buckets. And then we saw that they were at a hydrant, which where they were going to get water. And then we realized that actually there's a problem in this community. And obviously then the bigger picture and the bigger story around the community of Hammanskraal came out from those neighbors telling us about the contaminated water, that they can't drink that water, that it's not safe, that if they use it, they have to use it under certain conditions, doing certain things. But let us hear from the community of Hammanskraal in terms of their beliefs and their thoughts on this project and other projects as well.
It's a lot of work. I don't remember, maybe it's about 4 years or 5 years since ever the water stopped running at our place. And it's a struggle each and every day. We struggle when we come back to work, we have to come here and fetch water.
It's really bad. I'm not the phone. I think it's going to take time because no look out. Last week I knew I'm 4 days. So
some skeptical views there. Some residents of Hammanskraal speaking to Hloni Mtimkulu earlier after that announcement by the City of Tshwane that's going to partner with the Danish government to try and resolve some of the pressing water issues in the metro.